Today I've got my Galaxy Buds here, and over time the right headphone has become more and more muffled, meaning that basically over time it's gone from full volume to about 80, 60, 50, 40, and I think it was about 10% when I decided to undertake this project. Having looked online, I didn't see any information on how to clean inside the grill. So you've got the rubber that fits inside your ear canal, and then you've got this mesh screen right here. Now this mesh screen can come off, and I saw some posts on various forums about taking it off and cleaning it off, but I didn't see any videos, so I decided to make one. And that's what this video is today. So to give you the basics up front and not waste too much of your time, first you have to take the rubber piece off, then you must pry the grate out of its holder here, and underneath that holder is an adhesive type gasket, lightly sticky, kind of like sticky tack, and then affixed to the inside of this silver mesh there is a black filter that protects the driver from water and other gunk that sometimes gets clogged up with that gunk. So you take the needle, you pry this off. On the back side is the black filter. When you clean the filter off with isopropyl alcohol, you put it back in the right direction with the curve facing the curve of the silver mesh, and then you make sure the gasket is seated properly, and you can just push it back on. It does not pop into place, but it does seat itself back and it doesn't come off. After this video, I took it out and used it for about 45 minutes running around a field with my dog, and it sounded perfect, sounded like brand new. So this works. I did slightly damage the silver mesh. You might be able to see it, but it's so minor as to be of no consequence. And that was from where I used the needle to pry up the mesh. We're looking in real time what it's going to look like the first time you pop it off. Now it's a bit more difficult than that the first time. You have to wedge it in just a bit. So it's big enough that it can't dive deep into those holes. And I just basically did that. And it popped up. Now there's a little glue ring right here, as you can see. And that's the inside of the speaker. Now I just push that back down, and it's fine. This is the mesh piece here. Now you can see I've slightly damaged the hole right there where I used the needle to pry it out, but acoustically I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. That right there is the filter. So finally, with the smallest needle I could possibly find, well, the smallest needle I had, I was able to gently push this out. This is what protects the driver in the earbuds from getting messed up. So I'm just going to take a paper towel and get some cleaning fluid on it. So I would definitely recommend using a non-petroleum based cleaning fluid, probably something like isopropyl alcohol, or I think that's what I would stick with. If you've got it, use it. Reason being is because petroleum based fluids have a residue and will leave a residue. And if you use acetone, I'm always leery about what acetone will do to man-made plastics, well, just plastics in general, not necessarily man-made, but because they're all man-made. But in general, I'm just worried about how they can dissolve plastics. And because this is a protective layer, I'm going to do everything I can to not damage it. Now I'm just wetting a Q-tip and I'm going to spin it in here. And now that's much cleaner. Yep, that's perfect. Give it a hit with the dry side. Hit it on the front as well. So ideally, you would have had isopropyl alcohol to use. Yeah, I think that'll do it. Put this guy back in there. Let's see, it's kind of transparent. It's got a bit of a concave shape on one side, convex on the other. I'm going to put the convex downward into the mesh filter or mesh screen because that's how it's shaped. But it's doing everything it can to avoid going in there the right way. There we go. All right. Okay. Now to put it back on here. Now you remember I said this piece here, this piece right here. Be gentle with it. It's an O-ring of a kind. Sometimes your fingers are just best to do the job. So I just patted it down, my fingers, slide this in, slide it on top. And you can see it's kind of catching the glue. I'm satisfied with that. See, it's not on there yet. I'm just going to push it down in there. And it's seated just like before. Now it did not click in, so I imagine that O-ring is a bit of an adhesive, and because of that, it's going to be a little weaker now. So be aware of that. And I guess just to finish up, this is after I've gone through all the difficulties, lessons learned. When you put the mesh back on, it probably won't be as secure as it was originally. Be gentle. Use a small gauge needle. Pry from one side up. Open it up, flip it over, and with it in your finger, you can use a needle to push through the mesh, which will take the black backing off. Clean that with a non-petroleum based solvent. Some type of alcohol is recommended. Acetone, I'm not sure what it will do to the material. Then put it back on. make sure to match the curve of the mesh to the curve of the filter. Place it back in here, making sure the O-ring sits as best it can back where you put it, and that'll be it. You can use cotton swabs and paper towels, and that should be it. If you like it, I do videos from time to time. Go ahead and subscribe, hit like. The more you do that, the more people will be able to see the video. Thanks so much.